Good evening, Forest community members, and welcome to our Forest Focus webinar this evening. I am Kate Spencer-Ellis. I'm the head of sixth form here at Forest. As always, we're not expecting any technical difficulties, but please do bear with us if we encounter any problems. At the end, I'd be really grateful if you could complete our feedback survey so we are always improving what we do. This will be displayed as a QR code once our speakers have finished at the end of the webinar. Also, just a little bit of advertising. Our next webinar is on Tuesday, the 28th of November, and it's focused on assessment and reporting here at Forest. It has been my really very great pleasure to work with our new Director of Futures, Sandip Charlton, since April. She's got so much drive, so much vision for this incredibly important area of the curriculum. And she is going to talk you through Forest Futures alongside Polina from Unifrog. And as in one of my sixth formers once said, when she left Forest, in Unifrog we trust. So I hope that you have a really informative and interesting evening. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the Forest community. Thank you for that, Kate. I am Sandip Charlton and I'm the Director of Futures. Before you hear from me about Futures at Forest and what I've been doing since I've joined Forest, I would like to introduce you to Polina Andreeva, who is our contact at Unifrog and works very closely with the school to embed future planning within everything we do. So I would like to welcome Polina. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me in today's webinar. I'm Polina, I'm an account manager for Unifrog and I work with the parents, the students and the staff at Forest School. And I'm going to talk to you about Unifrog, the platform that all students have access to from year 7 up until they finish school. So Unifrog is a universal destinations platform and it helps students make really well-informed decisions when it comes to their next steps. There's lots on the platform and, just for the sake of time, I can't spend 3 hours talking about it all, but I will give you kind of a run through of the key tools that we really want you to support your kids using the platform. So just for your information, year 7 up to year 13 have been launched. So that means that they have logins, they're able to access the platform independently from home as well as in school, and they're doing quite a lot of sessions on that currently. But you as parents also have the option to sign up, create accounts of your own and explore the platform for yourselves. And at the end of my run through, I'm going to make sure to give you a QR code and a sign up code where you can sign up for yourselves and use the platform. So, Mrs. Milton, would you mind just showing, in fact, I think it's already sharing. So I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how it works. So all students have got a login. And as I've said before, you can also set up your accounts. And I'm just going to log into my dummy student account. So the key part of the platform at the very top, actually, you have a progress wheel, which shows the student how much the platform they've completed. Now, obviously, we don't expect year 7s to be getting to 100%, but we do want our year 13s to be kind of aspiring to have completed most of these tools. Now, as you scroll down, you've got lots of different tools which appear, and I just want to kind of run you through some of the key ones that year 7s would see, and in fact all year groups would see at the start would be the quizzes. Now the quizzes are a really engaging part of the platform where they take about 10 to 15 minutes to complete each of these profiling tools. And we would really suggest you as parents supporting your kids in terms of completing these quizzes. Not only are they interactive, but by the end they get a set of results where they can explore different careers and subjects suited to those results as well as their interests. Now, just to give you a little bit of a run through as to how that works, they just click on the start button and then they complete the quizzes. I'm just going to take this quiz again just to demonstrate. They just answer the series of questions. As I said, it takes about 15 minutes to complete. Really engaging. And of course, you as parents can do your own quizzes too with your own sign-up codes, which I'll show you at the end. Now, the key kind of tools that we would really suggest for you to be demonstrating with, and working alongside your daughters and sons are these career library, subjects library tools. Now, the careers library has so much information inside it in terms of research, and it's really about supporting all of our young people making those best decisions, those well-informed decisions. What you can do is you can sit alongside them, and then you can also inspire them to go into the careers library. You go into this tool here and you can start exploring. So you can start by just putting in a keyword. So for example, if you're interested in history as a student, you can type in history, click go, and you'd be able to see all of the different careers related to that subject. Now, the brilliant thing is that you can go into the profiles and read a lot more about each of these careers. The really important thing is that we want to inform our students of the skills they need, what they'll be doing throughout that career, the working hours, the career path and progression. And of course, we want to inform them of key labour market information that exists as well. So this is both nationally and also in your regional context. So please have a go and kind of sit down with your child. You can inspire them to look at all of these different career profiles together. We would also suggest for students to kind of start favoriting by clicking those heart buttons, because what that means is they'll be able to find those profiles really quickly when they log in again. So the Careers Library is a great starting point for research. And of course, students can also go, if they go down into the career sectors, they can find all of the different profiles by career sectors, by career area, by skill. So if you know, for example, you're a creative person, you can have a look at all of the amazing careers that you can go into based on that, by subject group, by theme. My top tip would, of course, be using that search bar. It's so quick to find lots of different career profiles within that. Just going back to the other libraries that, of course, lie right next to the Careers Library, you have the Subjects Library. The Subjects Library is brilliant for all age groups as well. What we really like about the Subjects Library is that students can actually find examples of wider reading, books, recommended podcasts, TED Talks, films they can watch on those subjects to really strengthen their wider reading. Again, if you search for your subject, or if you can go into a guide that you favorited. If I just go into chemistry, you'll be able to see a video of that student having studied at university, a case study video that the student can watch. And below that, we have these collapsible sections. So if I just open up in a nutshell, it gives students information on what that degree entails, what they'll be studying, the average salaries, the careers that are related to chemistry, and of course, the brilliant recommendations that lie beneath that, articles and TED Talks and so on, that students can explore and geek out essentially there with different specialist areas and hot topics. Again, please encourage your son or daughter to go into that. And there's a lot of information. We appreciate that, but it's a good starting point just to start off that research and that journey for that young person. Now, as well as all of these, the libraries that I've just mentioned here, we also have lots of other tools that, of course, we recommend. The Know-How Library is brilliant for finding different guides on revision, so help with revision timetables, guides on well-being, and of course, if you type in the search that you're looking for, you'll find so many different guides within that. So I've just typed in revision as an example, and as you can see, we've got lots of different guides, again, that you can encourage your child to be looking at as well. As well as those libraries, I mean, there's so much to explore. We do have a really important section that I want to kind of go over for students from all year groups. We want them to take pride in all of their amazing activities that they're doing, both in school, outside of school, all of the extracurricular achievements that they're having. And we want them to be using the activities tool to make record of that. And there's a lot of reasons for this. The first is we want our kids to be proud of what they're achieving, of course. The second is that it gets them into practice of reflection. So if we encourage all of our students to be using the activities tool, it's really simple. They go into the tool and then they can put in various activities. The great thing is that it's all chronologically listed. So by the end of their time at school, they'll have this amazing record, this list of incredible achievements and activities that they've done throughout school. And also it helps engage with their tutors, with other teachers who have visibility. So do encourage everyone. In fact, everyone should be doing it. Year 7, year 8, year 9 and upwards. Every single student should be starting to record their activities on that tool. Likewise, there is also a locker feature which lies right next to the activities tool. And we really encourage students to upload certificates of achievement. It's very similar to the activities tool. They can just upload anything there, a grade 5 violin certificate, for example, just so they have everything, all their records of achievement in one place. So it is really about personal development here, as well as careers as a platform. So there is lots to it in terms of, helping our children take pride in all of their achievements. We want them to be able to have this self-reflection, all these tools to self-reflect. So by the time they get to year 10, year 11 and 12, they're feeling confident with writing CVs or personal statements, and they're in that practice of self-reflection. So the activities tool, the locker tool are great for exactly that. Of course, there's lots of other searching for opportunities tools which lie underneath. These are the shortlisting tools essentially for older students to be using, year 11 upwards, I'd say, where they can look at different apprenticeships, university courses based on their interests. So these take about 5 minutes to complete. The brilliant thing is once a student creates a shortlist, they can actually find out about upcoming open days and events for those particular universities or apprenticeship opportunities they're interested in. So these are particularly helpful for those older students as well. Now, underneath this, of course, we have the application materials section. I'm just going to briefly talk about the CV one, but of course, the personal statement one applies for the older students. The CV tool is brilliant for those younger students too, who really want to get ahead and create a CV of their own rather than spending 5 painful hours trying to structure it all on one page. There's a brilliant tool which helps them populate a perfect looking structured CV. By going into it, they can just edit all of this information in one go. So they can edit their personal info, the skills, the work experience, their education, other interests by just clicking the edit button. And by the end, they get this lovely looking document where they have a CV ready to print out, ready to send to anyone they'd like, all in one place. If they scroll right down, they can of course print it off, download as a PDF. And this just really eases that whole part of writing CVs, structuring it well. So do encourage them to also go onto this brilliant CV tool too. So just going back onto the homepage, of course, my progress is 79%, but I should be aiming for 100% there. Underneath, there is a lovely search bar, which lies right at the top where students first go on. And this search bar is probably the best place, the best top tip I'm going to end with. You can just type in whatever you're looking for and find lots and lots of amazing content, resources, guides, past webinars and podcasts. So just to give you an example, if I just type in business into that search bar, I will be able to find lots and lots of resources there, including a course on how to start a business, or business management subject library guides, or webinars on exploring business with the University of Law, recommended books and articles that I can, get going with. So there's so much on the platform. It's really about making the most of it. And of course, the last thing that I wanted to say is that your students have access to this platform even after they leave Forest School. So for 4 years after they leave, they can still log in and access all of these resources. We would alumnify them, but they still have access. So that's a really key point I wanted to end with. So in terms of you signing up, it's really simple. What you would do, I'm just going to show you where to go on. You would go into unifrog.org/sign-in. And when that comes up, you would go into the being given a sign up code option here, and you would click use it here. Now, I'm going to ask Mrs. Milton now to show the QR code with your sign up code. Feel free to scan this QR code so that you can get signed up straight away. And remember, when you do sign up, you need to use that code. Type in SCPY Parents to be able to create an account for yourselves. We really hope that you make the most of this platform. There's so much information on there, of course. Little by little, it's important to encourage everyone to make well-informed decisions when it comes to those next steps. Thanks so much, everyone. And I'm going to pass it back to Mrs. Charlton now. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. So, careers education, where did it all start? Before we talk about my role here at Forest School, I thought it would make sense to discuss careers education within the United Kingdom and when the guidance was first given to schools and colleges about what they should be doing and the impact it had. So based on the research I've done, it started around post-World War II when the government at the time began to think about youth service. So in the 70s, guidelines were introduced on youth service. In the 1990s, you may remember Connections. You may have heard about Connections or seen connection centres in local areas. Connections was a careers advice and guidance service. But in regards to careers advice and guidance really having an impact, a turning point was around 2013. Now, the Gatsby Foundation, which was set up by Lord Sainsbury back in the 60s, looks at interests that are close to Lord Sainsbury's heart. And education is one of those interests. And they did a lot of research back in 2013 about what good careers advice and guidance looks like. Now, back then, there were a lot of reports being published by the government about UK careers advice and guidance being patchy. So what the David Sainsbury team of experts decided to do is to investigate what good looks like. So they identified 6 countries globally that had been identified in the OECD reports at the time as having good careers advice and guidance, and they visited those countries. Germany was one, Canada, Ontario specifically was another, the Netherlands was a third, and they spoke to teachers, careers advisors, head teachers, employers, teachers in colleges, leaders, universities. They looked at everything, the whole picture, and they put together some benchmarks. The team came back to the UK, and rather than roll the benchmarks out across the UK, they decided to pilot them and test them. And they tested them in 10% of schools in the northeast of England. The feedback that came back following that pilot was these 8 benchmarks that are on the screen now. These 8 benchmarks are now enshrined in law, and our schools and colleges have a statutory duty to follow them. So number 1 is having in place a stable careers programme, and I will say more about that shortly. Number 2, and my colleague Polina touched upon this, is responding to labour market information. We have a duty when we're supporting and guiding our young people to plan for their next steps to ensure that we're giving them accurate labour market information. Number 3 is that we should be meeting the needs of individual pupils. Number 4 is linking our curriculum to careers where relevant. Number 5 is giving our students, our pupils across the school, opportunities to meet with employers and employees. Number 6 is giving pupils experiences of the workplace. Number 7 is experiences of further education, higher education, and all of the possible opportunities they have once they leave Forest School. And number 8 is personal guidance. Now, when I joined Forest School back in April, I could see that future planning really matters. Future planning is part of Forest's vision to develop the whole student, and we wholeheartedly believe in this. We wholeheartedly believe in preparing each and every student for their immediate next steps. So our Year 9 students who are thinking about GCSEs, our Year 11 students who are thinking about A-level options, but also preparing them for the future. So this is something we do in the personal development curriculum, and we also do in the core curriculum. And I'm hoping, as you'll see at the end, that it will be more clear in the core curriculum how we do this in the future. So some things that we've done this term. So the Director of Futures role, my role, is across the whole school. When I first joined Forest, a lot of colleagues would assume I'm part of the sixth form team. I work very closely with the sixth form team, very, very closely with the sixth form team. But the Director of Futures role is a whole school role, including the prep school. So back in the summer, when I was preparing for Green Careers Week with the intention to encourage all pupils to plan for their future through a green lens, we did include activities for the prep school pupils. So we invited in a TV personality who's been around the world, has done lots of interesting, dangerous, swimming with sharks, extreme activities, going to sleep on the side of a mountain, has been the voice of characters on TV shows, including Peppa Pig. We introduced Naomi Wilkinson to our prep school pupils, and they were all shown her experience to highlight to them that they can pursue anything once they leave school, but hopefully they'll start to think about their future plans through a green lens. Our lower school pupils in the Michaelmas term have been introduced to Unifrog, as Paulina stated earlier, and as part of Green Careers Week, they met with EcoActive, a local educational charity based in East London. They were given a problem to look at, a live problem. They were asked to take on the role of a key member of a group who would work on that live problem, such as an environmental lawyer or an eco-activist, and they were tasked with solving that problem. And the skills they were asked to utilise were skills that have been identified in the Future for Jobs report, May 2023, key skills that are relevant today and will continue to be relevant in the near future. Things like agility, having analytical skills, being creative. It's lovely to hear feedback from the pupils, which includes, as you can see on the screen, it helps as I like art a lot and I didn't know that art could make such a difference for the environment. So clearly this pupil had made a link between the curriculum, what they enjoy, and what they could do in the future. In Michaelmas 2, before Christmas, the lower school will have a tutorial on personal interests. So everything we do in regards to future planning is age and stage appropriate. So with our lower school pupils, we're going to encourage them to think about what they enjoy, what they like. As they've just had tutorials on values, it's very much linked to values. What I'd like to do now is share the voice of one of my lower school ambassadors. I work with an excellent team of Futures ambassadors, and this is a letter my lower school ambassador has written to his future self. To my future self, I have written this letter to you to reflect on your time at Forest School. As you read this, I want you to look back on what you have accomplished and be proud of yourself for each of your accomplishments. By the time you look at this letter, I hope you have achieved 4 marks in every subject. And depending on when you get this, I hope you are practicing law. If not law, then I hope you're working in a field such as science or engineering or something else that you have a love for. I hope you continued your academic journey at Forest School until the age of 18, as I felt that this school provided excellent advice for next steps in future planning. I remember in year 7 when you were very brave and volunteered to be part of the Futures team as a Futures ambassador. In this role, you worked closely with the school staff to make sure that the lower had a structured programme of activities relevant to next steps planning. I recall those leadership skills you had from year 7 when in Michaelmas 1 you offered to speak up in a middle school assembly. I wonder what the Futures department looks like now. I hope the concept of Futures is widely embedded throughout all aspects of the school, lower, middle and sixth form. I hope there are a lot more initiatives for next steps like seminars, work, shadowing, even a year where Forest in Action is entirely based on Futures. My goal was to make the Futures department known to every single Forest pupil in the school. I wanted pupils' aspirations to become their reality. I wanted all pupils to be confident and follow their passions in life. I hope when you read this, Futures has made a large impact at Forest School. They do keep me on my toes. In the middle school, going back to what I was saying earlier about our activities and our personal development topics and themes being age and stage appropriate, in the middle school, we've introduced more for year 9, year 10 and 11 to prepare them for their next steps. So again, Unifrog was rolled out across the middle school in Michaelmas 1. And as part of Green Careers Week, the middle school pupils were invited to select workshops to attend, years 10 and 11 in particular, where they were asked to choose options which were linked to jobs they may be interested in. So, for example, environmental law, natural sciences, or engineering. In Michaelmas 2, before Christmas, the middle school will begin to look at skills, the difference between hard skills and what were always called soft skills, although I do prefer the term power skills, as they're far from soft. They'll look at examples of how they can evidence that they have these skills. And going back to what Paulina was saying earlier, it'll be great for them to start building that CV and writing effective examples of skills they possess. Our Year 10 pupils, as part of Forest in Action on the 29th of September, were introduced to different workshops in London based on careers they may be interested in. And that was in the morning on the 29th of September. In the afternoon, they had a session dedicated to skills, and that was led by Benita Norris. It was here on site at Forest School in the Deaton Theatre, whereby Benita shared her experience of being the youngest British female mountain climber of Mount Everest back in, from memory, it was 2010, 2012. And her whole session was built around key skills and things like resilience and collective resilience, and how when things get tough, you're not alone. So great feedback after that session, and hopefully encouraged pupils to start to think about their journey here at school. And things will be tough. They will have experienced times when things have been tough, depending on where they are in their journey, but they're not alone, and there's plenty of support here for them to help them navigate those tough times. Our Year 11 pupils back in September, early on in Michaelmas 1, had a Morrisby psychometric profile, which is nothing to do with ability. It's all about linking things pupils enjoy to jobs, careers they may be interested in. And this week and next week, our Year 11 pupils are all having next steps, future planning, interviews with external careers advisors. Everything I do is led by the pupil voice, so it was very nice to receive feedback from some of the activities the pupils engaged in as part of Green Careers Week, which included a student picking a natural sciences option. And she said, I think it really helped me learn about how science and environment can be interconnected in ways that I had never really thought about, which was great. I have 5 middle school futures ambassadors. I have one in Year 9, who's just joined the team. I have one in Year 10 and 3 in Year 11. And again, being led by the pupil voice, I'd like to share a letter by a Year 11 Futures Ambassador. And he decided to write this from the point of view where he is in his dream job. He has achieved his aspirations, and he's writing this to his 15, 16-year-old self. Dear 15-year-old me, you made it. I am now 28 years old, and I'm a senior partner at the law firm you were dreaming of. So, since I managed to achieve this, I thought I would share some guidance as to how I did it and how what you did during your secondary school made it possible. Now, I know it is a cliche, but it is so important to have faith in yourself. How you are going to be able to succeed and take advantage of opportunities if you don't put yourself out there. Be outgoing, be resilient, and be driven, but also remember that your health always comes first, whether that be your mental health or your physical health. Sometimes you need days off, and that is okay, but it is vital that you remember to pick yourself up and keep at it. Law school was very competitive, so I'm relieved that you were so driven and you always got top grades. It would have been much harder to get into Oxford without these things. I recall how tough it was. However, I will be eternally grateful for the fact that while you took breaks when they were needed, you always pushed through to the end. Time and time again, this proved to be beneficial, as at the end of each task, assignment, or journey, 9 times out of 10, you succeeded. One of those journeys just happened to have been law school. I think the main message that I'm trying to get across to you, my younger self, is that I am so glad that you learned through secondary school and you develop the mindset that when it gets tough, you can stop, you can rest, you can regroup, but never give up. Kind regards, you in 13 years with your dream job. Since joining Forest, I have worked very, very, very closely with the sixth form team. The sixth form team works exceptionally hard to prepare our pupils for their next steps, for when they leave Forest, when they walk out of those white gates and they embark upon the next stage in their academic journey. I, since June, have been working very closely with a cohort of pupils or students, sixth form students, who are interested in pursuing a degree apprenticeship as part of their next steps. So in July, I invited in a solicitor who pursued a degree apprenticeship and is now working as a qualified solicitor for ITV in London. And since returning after the summer holiday, I've continued working with this cohort of learners and have invited in young old foresters from across a range of sectors, including engineering, finance and law, to work with these students, to guide them and give their inside knowledge on what the journey has been like from when they were a sixth form student to what they do now. Our students have heard from young old foresters who have gone off to do an apprenticeship, a level 4 apprenticeship, which is equivalent to year 1 at university, right up to those who have done the equivalent of a degree apprenticeship. We have students who are very busy now applying for these degree apprenticeships alongside their counterparts who are applying through UCAS to university. Many of our students who are applying to degree apprenticeships are also applying through UCAS to go on to university. So they really are keeping their options open. And it was lovely to hear this week that one of our year 13 students has been offered an apprenticeship with one of the big 4 in London, one of the big 4 accountancy firms. He's also applied to university, so he really is keeping his options open. On the screen, you'll see some feedback after one of these sessions where a year 13 student commented, "It was great to get an insight into the different aspects of apprenticeships, from the application process to life within a company or how to get that competitive edge. One thing all year 13 students have said to me after the sessions they've had with a young old forester who's pursued the degree apprenticeship or apprenticeship route and is now in industry, one thing they've said is they've learned how competitive it is. It's not an easy option. It's highly, highly, highly competitive. So they're working very hard on applications where windows are open. But it's like applying for any job, the window will open when the company is ready to open the window. So for some of our students, they're working on those applications now. For others, the window may open at a different time, such as January 2024. So hearing from our sixth form student ambassador, that should say, apologies. Letter to my year 11 self. As I sit down to write this letter, I can't help but reflect on the incredible journey that lies ahead for you. The transition from year 11 to the sixth form is a pivotal moment filled with both excitement and challenges. I want to share some insights and advice that I believe will help you to navigate this transformative period of your academic life. First and foremost, year 11 pupil, take a deep breath. The journey ahead may seem daunting, but remember that you are more resilient and capable than you give yourself credit for. Embrace the challenges with an open mind and a positive attitude, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity for growth. Academically, you're about to step into a more demanding environment. The workload will increase and the expectations will be higher. But here's the secret. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. Take the time to understand the subjects you're passionate about. Engage in class discussions, ask questions, and don't be afraid to seek help when you need it. Remember, everyone is on their unique academic journey, so focus on your own path of learning and improvement. Speaking of the future, I want to introduce you to Unifrog. This platform is a goldmine of information that will guide you through the intricate process of planning your academic and professional future. Use it to explore different career paths, research universities and courses, and discover the myriad opportunities that are available to you. Attend workshops, seek advice from teachers and the Director of Futures, and take proactive steps towards shaping your future. However, amidst the academic hustle, don't forget to enjoy the present. Cherish the moments with your friends. Appreciate the guidance of your teachers and relish in the joy of learning. The sixth form is not just about exams and assignments, it's about self-discovery and personal growth. Lastly, trust in yourself. You have a unique set of skills, passions and dreams that will propel you forward. Believe in your abilities and don't be afraid to dream big. The journey may have its ups and downs, but each experience will contribute to the person you are becoming. Remember, it's okay not to have everything figured out. Use this time to explore, to learn, and discover who you are and what you want. The future is bright and you have the power to shape it. What is the vision for the Futures Department? The vision for the Futures Department is that individuality is fully embraced and pupils are equipped with the knowledge, the skills, the attitudes, the values they need to thrive in their immediate next steps and their futures, and they have the confidence that they can do what they hope to do moving forwards. Currently, planning for the future is within the personal development curriculum. Moving forwards, it will be within the core curriculum where relevant. Upcoming events. So going back to Gatsby 1, having in place a stable careers programme, when I joined Forest in April, I worked very closely with the personal development leads across the school, the lower school, the middle school and the sixth form. And as the sixth form already had a very well-established personal development curriculum, I worked more closely with the lower and the middle school to put in place a personal development that has futures, that is part of it, that is interwoven through it, where it's age and stage appropriate and it's relevant. Upcoming events in the new year, and you will have information about this. We will have a higher education and careers fair in January 2024. We're hoping to put on events during National Apprenticeship Week in February 2024 and also during National Careers Week in March 2024. As I was thinking about the vision for the Futures Department, a quote I once read by a former US Secretary of Education came to mind. And what was said was, we are currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't been invented in order to solve problems we don't even know are problems. And the only way we can do this is to work together as a community with our pupils at the heart of everything we do. Parents, school, pupils working together to ensure our pupils can navigate that journey in a way where they have full confidence in what they're doing. If you can support us in preparing our pupils for their immediate next steps or the future, please do get in touch. Thank you very much.